For the next month or so, I'm going to be doing lives about a very important topic. Very important topic. At least important to me. It may or may not be important to you, but let me share with you what it is. It's about story. Story. And, when we were little, maybe not when you were little, I don't know. My dad used to read us stories, and I loved that, and it communicated a lot of really important things. You see in the background, I've got a background that's got me in there, and oh dear, what am I doing? I'm writing a book. I want to talk a little bit to you about that because right now, as we sit here, I've written 20 books, and I'm working on number 21 and 22 this year, and I'm pretty excited because this coming January 26, I'm launching a brand new, huge project. And you'll hear about it in a little bit. I'll be announcing it in the middle of June. And then I'll be talking about that for a while. I'll be announcing in the middle of June. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. That one will be specifically for people who are in the people encouragement business or do coaching of some kind. If you're in the business of helping others, if your commitment is to lift and bless others' lives, then that announcement middle of June will be really important to you. But anyway, what I want to talk about today is this thing right here. Down on the screen, you see there's a thing say dreambuildwriteit.com. In the process of writing 20 books over the last 13 or 14 years, I realized something. I learned, I didn't write before. I wasn't a writer. I did work in the energy industry, electricity industry specifically, for 30 years, 77 to 2007. I was in electricity, both with some utilities and with government agencies and involved in deregulation and a bunch of stuff in the U.S. and Canada with several different utilities and governments. And so I didn't write. I wrote some technical papers and stuff, but I didn't really consider myself a writer. And in fact, I didn't really like writing. I avoided it when I could. After I changed my whole life and left that entire career in 2007, 18 years ago, I began to do work on myself because there were a lot of things in my life that were not happy. A lot of sadness, a lot of self-inflicted stuff. Maybe we've all got that. You've all had tragedies and things happen to you. And so, I got to cover up my face. There, that's kind of funny. But anyway, I started writing, and the reason I wrote is partly it was therapeutic, but mostly, the big piece was I realized that the things that had happened in my life, some of it self-inflicted, some of it inflicted by outside forces, all had the opportunity to either trash me or help me, ruin me or refine me. And I realized after a while of blaming and getting frustrated at others and situations that was my choice. To either let it ruin me or refine me. Can you imagine that? Allowing external things to control you for years, even decades. I'm finally realizing that it's your call. It was my call. And I didn't know that. And it's funny to say that now, but I didn't. And then when I discovered it, I made a big decision. I said, well, then if it's my call, I'm going to choose to let everything refine me to make me better, stronger, happier, more service, more loving. And I chose to look at everything that way. In the process of learning that, I came to another realization, and that was this, that all this stuff that I'd gone through, maybe like you, maybe you've been through a betrayal or a bankruptcy or a divorce or death of a parent or loved one or some illnesses or business betrayal, somebody ripped you off, or maybe darker things, maybe you were abused, or maybe there's some hidden struggles, addictions, and other things that have been part of your life. And if you choose to take the point of view, all those things can refine you instead of ruin you, then suddenly you own the script. It's like a movie where you own the script. Anyway, in learning that, I realized that I had a yearning. A yearning was born in me at the same time I was healing and getting to work myself, that I could be of service to others with this stuff I'd been experiencing. It's like, wow, it was a massive revelation. And I went through the same typical things that we all do. I'm not good enough. Nobody will listen. Who cares? A big one is I'm not finished yet. I'm still a work in progress, so I got no business telling anybody anything. And you know what? If that were true, nobody'd ever help anybody because nobody's perfect. So forget that noise. Anyway, as I started writing, I realized a fundamental truth. Your story can save lives. Your story can save lives. Yes, your story. Hear me. Your story can save lives. Think about that. Now, maybe it's physical. I interview, you guys know I have a 1,000 episode podcast and I'm going on, not going to quit for many more years. And it's about 100 episodes a year because I do 2 a week in 50 weeks and it's 104. But anyway, I'm never going to quit because I love doing it. And again, it's a way to save lives. Now, I interviewed somebody the other day, and this is an invitation, by the way, if you have something you want to share with the world and I want you to get a hold of me, the best way to do it is to go to this URL on the screen, kellenflukigermedia.com, and use the contact page. Anyway, I realized as I interviewed this person whose work was about suicide prevention that the story saves lives was a literal thing. Ooh, that was a big one. And then I also realized that it was literal in another way, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, where you go from feeling like you're nothing and nobody and no good and all that stuff to being full of power, full of joy, full of love. So all of those things together turned me on, ding, like a light bulb to the power of writing. So that's why I started writing books about 2009. So about 15 years ago, I started writing, and I've written 20, maybe 13 years. I don't know, somewhere back there. And after I had written 6 or 7 or 8, I realized that I had developed a really good system, a system for 3 things. Helping you discover and unlock the story that you have. So many people think they don't have one, and that's just not true. You do, and it matters, and you can save lives, physically, energetically, spiritually, and help others unlock their potential. And the more I discovered, the more I felt compelled to share that. And I feel a new compulsion, and that's to help others because I've unlocked the secret of telling the stories, writing books, creating programs, so that you can not only help others, lift, bless, serve, in whatever capacity you want to. You don't have to become a coach. Maybe you want to. I don't know. But in all of those capacities, you can lift and serve, and you can make good money. You can get paid. And do you know why? Because real help is hard to find. I don't know how many of you employers out there have said, oh man, good help is so hard to find. That's cliche. We certainly have experienced that. We've gone through all kinds of different teams for websites and VA work and just, social media work over and over again. We've had to hire and fire, find new ones till we found good help. So good help is hard to find. And I realized that I have the best system for creating that book, the book of you, the book that discovers and tells the truth of your power better than anyone else. And I'm going to give it to you for free. So I'm going to invite you right now to this URL on the other side, www.dreambuildwriteit.com. www.dreambuildwriteit.com. Go there. Check it out. It's a 5-day challenge, an hour a day, June 2 through 6. So 3 weeks. 3 weeks away. Put it on your calendar, an hour a day. It's at noon Mountain Time, but you'll see that on the page. Sign up. There's no cost. I want to invite you to explore the idea of writing the book of you, the book that answers the question, how did you get where you are? Because when people are successful, others look at them and say, wow, how did you get there? How did you overcome this, that, and the other? And when you write that in a story and gather the key principles that you learned along the way, you are doing a great service. You're making your story vulnerably accessible to others, and you're teaching the principles that you learned that so many can benefit from. So this is your chance to unlock the story that you have and turn it into something powerful, both to serve others and to get paid. So if you want to learn how to do that at no cost, www.dreambuildwriteit.com. Stop hiding your gift. You have one. You know it. You feel it sometimes. And you probably argue with yourself about whether or not you've got anything. That's pretty normal too. So the guy behind me there encourages you to come join us. The guy in front of the guy behind me says, come join us. Love to see you there. www.dreambuildwriteit.com. Let's uncover your gift and set you on a path to change the world with your learning and experience and your love. We'll see you tomorrow.